What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today, I am joined once again by Mobile Gamer.
What's up? Howdy, 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 howdy.
How's it going? I noticed you got your Whale Harder shirt on today, too. There you
Yeah, I
go, Whale
represent the
Harder.
merch gang. I took some advice. My personal friend Logan Paul said you need to have a low gain, well harder shirt, and I said, all right, I'll do that, man.
Was he the one who just got
I said
arrested for
I
trespassing, or was that the other Paul brother?
I don't know. I do. One of them's I can't remember like the Maverick low gain Paulers. All of it's confusing to me, but all I know is I want some of it.
Do you, though? Do you?
I don't know, man. Those guys seem like clowns, but good for them.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about the biggest mistakes you can make as a starting player, what to do to avoid them. We've got a nice little list here. We got at least 6 things on here, though maybe we'll add some more on as we go through. But yeah, I mean, starting with a new player, there's actually surprisingly a good amount of stuff you can do that can really mess you up for the long run. Um, I mean, yeah. Well, the other day we talked about like mid tier and what to do for mid tier or mid game players, but then the new game or new players talking about mistakes they can make. Not a lot of discussion about that. So that's what we're gonna be focusing on today.
I
What's up?
think I think the main thing, and we're going to talk about it here in this video, is that the game is completely centered around legendary characters. So,
Yeah.
uh, focusing anything on characters that are not well, I mean, there's different things you need to do this game, of course, but the main focus of this game is legendary characters and
Hmm.
acquiring legendary characters. So, I know where you're going with this screen right here. Why don't you
Yeah.
say that? And that's the reason why you should not do this. So go for it.
All right, so the very first thing we're going to talk about is going hard on defenders. Now, the first video I did on my channel was talking about why you should work on defenders as like your first team. And the one thing I stressed in that video was just unlock them. Don't
Yes.
keep farming them beyond that. Just unlock them because they'll give you a team to start using in Blitz and Arena and
Right.
other places. But the problem is this is actually going to detract from our next point too, is that the more resources you invest on the defenders at the beginning of the game, the longer it's going to take for you to start out in getting your first legendary, which is going to be Star Lord. Because
Right.
yeah, like Luke Cage is through Blitz, Daredevil is through Arena, and we'll talk about this in Mobile Gamers video as well. Drax is through Arena, and you're going to need Drax
Yeah.
for Star Lord. So
Right.
yeah,
Well,
going
first of
hard
all,
on defenders. Sorry, go ahead.
Defenders is a good team, and you're gonna need them for
Mhm.
something, and you're gonna need almost every character everywhere all the time, it seems
Yeah.
like. But they do fall off,
Hmm.
and then as you move on along in the game, I'm finding that I'm not using them at all, and very
Yeah.
rarely. It used to be the staple benchmark for all teams was defenders, but what I'm finding today is that if I would have took some of those resources, like you do need defenders for there's various events that need defenders, city events, things like that.
Hmm.
But Guardians have just seem to have like a better shelf life, and Star Lord is a legendary character, and it's just a
Yeah.
better play in the long run, even if defenders are better early. But I don't want to say that they're a bad team. They definitely don't have the long term play. The longer you progress on the game.
Yeah, and this goes in the second thing that you can a big mistake you make for starting player is not going for Star Lord. Like Star
Oh
Lord
yeah,
is the best legendary to get as a new player. Very easy to get overall. You need Guardians and Ravagers to get him. But I mean Mantis and Gamora through the Blitz Store, Draxus through Arena, Rocket Raccoons through raids, and then Groot's hard known farm. They're kind of spread out in different places. But Star Lord, he's got a lot of starting potential. You'll use him for raids, especially like your Ultimate 6 and below. You can use him
hmm
for Dark Dimensions 1 and 2 eventually. I mean, he's got some nice lasting power. He falls off towards the end game, but there's no better
sure.
starting hero for you to get at the beginning of the game. And yeah, if you ignore him and don't go for Star-Lord as your first legendary, you're going to be in a world of hurt cuz you're going to fall really behind.
Yeah, the things change, of course, over time. But right
Yeah.
now, Star Lord is an incredibly viable option, insanely helpful in multiple game modes,
Mhm.
specifically in Dark Dimension 2. So Star Lord plus if you get lucky enough to unlock Minerva through premium orbs, then you could take pretty much the rest of the Guardians in. Definitely Groot for sure.
Yeah.
Groot's very helpful there. Those three, Star-Lord, Groot, and Minerva, plus two other characters to keep Minerva alive, and you're on your path to get an Ultron.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I use. I use Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, and then I think, yeah, Minerva and someone else. And that's what I use for Dark Dimension 2 to get Ultron. Man,
Mhm.
love Ultron. He's the best. All
Yep,
right.
yep, yep.
So moving on from that, number three, not looking for a good alliance, not really trying to get yourself
Oh
out
god.
there. This is something that actually in many of my videos I get people asking about, like, hey, I'm looking for an alliance. Do you know of anybody who's looking for them? Where can I go to look for alliances? The best place I can recommend is the Marvel Strike Force official Discord server. If you guys
Mhm.
want to go check it out, there'll be a link to it down below in the video description. But yeah, I mean that Discord server's got everything. So you can based on what your total collection power is, what you're looking for, put out your application, see what's out there, see if you can apply, see if someone will pick you up. Because if you don't get a good alliance, they'll throw you into like this generic like strike force
Yeah.
number and like a long string of numbers.
Yeah.
And those players usually not the best
Yeah.
players.
No, it can't stress how important it is to be in an alliance
Yeah.
that you hopefully your collection power is right in the middle of the alliance so that you're not pulling up your alliance and you're not being carried. And the idea is if you can get into alliance with 23 other like-minded individuals that
Hmm.
play the game at a similar pace and there's a focus on rating because the purple materials, the T3 purple materials are in some sort of scarcity early game and you
Yeah.
need a large of them, but they are not scarce if you raid, and
Yeah.
if you're in an alliance that raids, you're going to get them, and over time you're going to have enough. But I see people saying, "Well, I need to buy these," and it's like, wow, at some point you're going to have these. I've got almost 30,000 of them excess right now, and
Yeah.
so you're not going to have a shortage indefinitely if you're an alliance and that values rating. Do you have a shortage of T3s
I've got
currently? Purple.
113 right now.
Okay,
But I'm
so
also I'm
but you're
also leveling I'm a newer player, so I mean I'm
right.
leveling up my roster. I'm spending and investing in characters. Like I just invested in Ironheart for the Power Armor squad. And
But you're
yeah.
probably getting enough to keep up with the
Yeah.
characters that you
Yeah,
want.
I mean
You're not
I'm getting a nice daily allotment of like 200 to 300 a day from Alliance raids because we're doing like difficulty 4, Ultimate 6, and I mean that's
Yep,
given us, as long as I can clear my nodes, that gives me a lot. I'm
yep,
getting like 4 purples per node and then
yep.
150 with the payout at the end. I mean, yeah. You
But you
definitely
shouldn't have to buy T3s. Have you ever bought T3s?
no.
Yeah,
No.
you shouldn't. If you're that's where you're gonna get your T3s from is raiding with your alliance. And if you're running into this monstrous shortage of T3s, purple ability materials, got to get into alliance. And I can't stress though that having one that's where people are in similar time zones, similar language,
Mhm.
similar like interest in the game, and where you can be friends and things like that and work together and it's a lot of fun. Like you just witnessed our alliance war. That was a lot of fun. You got to see the back
Yeah.
end of it. It's a lot
Yeah,
of
I
fun when
did.
you work together, right? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the thing is that's where you're going to get your T3s from and you shouldn't have to buy them. And you will have a surplus of them in time as long as you're in the correct alliance. And I don't think you want to be the biggest player and you don't want to be the smallest player. Hopefully you're somewhere in the middle is
Yeah.
is is ideal.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about. I guess we'll use this as a tie-in here. We're talking about this earlier with Nobu, and we'll talk about more in detail on Mobile Gamer's video. But yeah,
Mhm.
buying characters in these stores that you can farm in other places,
Oh
definitely don't
god.
do.
Oh
So,
god.
so he can see
Yeah.
he can see Nobu. Mobile Gamer, how do you feel about Nobu? Do you like Nobu?
Well, it's not that well, my main issue with Nobu is that back in the day, to unlock Phoenix, you had to have some resources invested not only into Nobu but to Hand Assassin,
Yeah.
and it was really frustrating because at one point in time, the developers said that they weren't going to require us to use bad characters to unlock legendary characters, and what they did that was because that was a big issue initially, and they actually said publicly that they weren't going to do that, but then they did it, and so I was
Was
saying,
that
that was
before
a
or
whole
after
thing.
Nick Fury?
There was the Nick Fury incident when they were requiring Kree minions, and Kree minions were horrid.
Oh,
And
they
then
were
they
so
finally
bad.
reworked them. They were so bad, and now they're okay. I don't know. They
They're
made them
they're
playable.
better.
They're better, but they were never amazing. But they
Yeah.
used to be absolutely the worst. And then they said, "Well, we're sorry. We'll never do that again." And then they did it with Nobu and Hand Assassin.
And they
Where
made her
and
a
then now
six-star requirement too.
6-star requirement. So Here's where we're going on this is that you don't want to farm Nobu inside of the war store. That's a very valuable currency. Some currencies are worth more than others. I mean, there's raid, there's blitz, there's arena. Some of them more abundant. The one that is by far the most scarce and the most valuable is going to be your war store currency. And I repeat,
Yeah.
do not buy characters in there that are farmable elsewhere. And Nobu is one of
Yeah.
those characters. He has a node. There's no reason to farm Nobu there. Wait,
I've
because
actually got
that
I've
currency's
actually got
valuable, very, very
yeah.
valuable for like Sif and Mr. Sinister and Pyro and
Yeah.
Carnage. There's so many good, and not only that, that's where I have to personally get not character shards. Never mind character shards. I need to use that for materials to get characters to 14. The superior minion uniques are insanely valuable and rare, and that's my primary way of getting them is in that store.
Yeah, and yeah, I've actually got two characters here. So Nobu and Hydra Sniper are both farmable through nodes.
Oh
So
yeah, there's
so any
never buy
character that
those.
you can
Never.
buy in these nodes. So Loot Cage is another option. We are talking about defenders earlier. You can farm him through a hard node. So use your Blitz store currency elsewhere. Buy the characters that you can't farm up through other conventional means. Like that's the best way
Yeah,
to go for it. Because yeah, if you
yeah,
it all you're doing is just kind of shortening your farming window. It's really not worth it when you have currency to spend, or you have to buy characters that are exclusive to that store, like Sif. Like we've got polar opposites here. Sif, which is probably the best option to get through the war store right now, and then Nobu, who is probably one of the worst options to get through the war store.
and then again, if it, you're buying Sif, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
goes to the point is the game is about legendary characters,
Mm-hmm.
and Sif herself may not be that important overall in the scheme of the game, but she is important because she's the pathway to getting Black Bolt. And so, I want to say that any of the purchases or the investments in characters in any of these stores is ideally leading you towards some sort of legendary character. So
Yeah.
Sif is the logical choice because that's the only place you can get her, and she's taking you in a direction so that you can unlock Black Bolt. Where that's and if Nobu, yes, helps you get Phoenix, but you can get Nobu somewhere else, and then that's that. Just
Yeah.
don't do it. My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's oof, man. Can you imagine spending currency to get Nobu through the war store?
Oh, people said they did it because
I
I didn't have enough
oh
time and the
man.
event was coming. I get it, but
Yeah.
still, my goodness, no, no, no. Do better planning or wait. I don't know. That
Yeah.
currency is so valuable
Yeah.
when it comes to the
War
end
store is
game.
extremely rare. All right.
Yeah, it's very valuable.
So moving on from that, let's talk about spending gold and keeping your roster leveled up. One of the big things that
Mm.
you have, like early on, gold is pretty bountiful. Like you don't have to spend a lot of gold to level up characters, but once you hit about level 50 or 60, that's when the costs really start
Yeah,
to go up. I think
yeah.
it's like what 63 is about a third of the gold needed to take them to 70.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Yeah.
between
You
one to
you
sixty-three.
the amount of gold it takes to get to 633 is the same amount of gold that it takes to go to 70,
Uh huh.
63 to 70, and then from to go to 71 to 75 is another same amount. So
Yeah.
63 is about a third of the way up, yet that's up to 63, right? The max
Yeah.
level 75. So I think what you're trying to say is, be careful with the gold and don't go
Yeah.
crazy and spreading it too thin around your roster because you're going
Yeah.
to run out of it. And hopefully you're not buying excess amounts of gear. That's also kind of an expensive way of using gold for gear they can drain your gold very quickly. I do want to say though that you do kind of want to go broad if blitzing is important. I know that's probably going to be your next topic.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
I'll
mean to
have
jump in,
Blitz here in a
but
moment.
yeah, you do want to have a broad roster so that you can blitz, especially well. We'll get there, but you do want to unlock characters and you do want to upgrade them so that you can use them in the blitz mode and do
Hmm.
have a wide and the only part of the roster that you should go like all of your resources is going to be your arena and your raid team.
Hmm.
The rest of the characters you can kind of back off at some point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, arena should be the most important thing for you to focus. Like your top priority team should always be your arena team because that's where you get your power cores. Your arena currency is pretty useful as well. I mean, there's a lot of characters here, but
And
yeah,
and then if the question is who should be my arena team, whoever you're losing against. If you
yeah,
lose if you're losing an arena, l- whatever team you lost to should be your Rita team. And
Yeah.
it's kind of logical, but you could go up to the top and you can see what characters are good.
Hmm.
Well, I put out top 10 lists. It's gonna be legendaries. The game's all
It's
about
nothing but
legendaries. So there you go.
legendaries.
Yeah, the game is about legendary characters. So
Yeah.
if basically you need to be working towards legendaries, and because they cycle in and out about every 3 months, and legendaries come through, and you got to be ready for them when they come around.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let's talk about Blitz. Now, you don't like Blitz. You only do
I
milestone
hate
blitzing.
Blitz. I hate Blitz.
Yeah. Yeah. But one of the important things is that as a new player, you're basically thrown to like baby's first Blitz. And you're in like this incredibly easy Blitz shard for the first 30 or 45 days, something like that. You definitely do not ignore that because you do not
No.
have to really be competitive in that time, but you can very easily climb up the ranks. And like those splits, those orb assault blitz that we do where you just get a lot of premium orbs, like that's a big
Yeah.
thing, especially as a new player. Like a new player, premium orbs are very, very important for you. So if you
Yes.
can be competitive in the new blitz and get those orb assault blitz in and get those premium orbs, that's a huge deal.
And that's where I was going earlier in the conversation is so going wider and having enough characters to build blitz teams and to
Hmm.
go through rotations and blitz is going to be of a good thing. And not a lot of resources need to go into those characters to make them work in blitz. In fact, the way blitz works is the higher power level of the team, you get paired up against higher level. So it doesn't matter how much you upgrade them. It does affect the amount of points you get based on their power level. But having correct team compositions and team synergies, you should be able to win as you go up through Blitz. And I want to stress for me personally, I focus on getting through the milestones, and the milestones is pretty much a done deal. But going in a blind leaderboard for unknown rewards based on where you rank is kind of scary once you're out of the beginner Blitz. And
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing, the beginner Blitz. Because at some point you get bumped out of it, right? The beginner
Yeah, it's
shard, right? The
about I
beginner
think it's
Blitz.
about 30 days that you only
But you wanna
get.
focus on that early because
Yeah.
you could walk away with, 100 or whatever character shards of a brand new character pretty easily, and that's kinda nice.
Yeah, it's yeah, that whether you love or hate Blitz, especially as you go down the road, like just ignoring that easy Blitz, because once you're done with that, you're thrown to the wolves. Like I'm having to compete with people who are scoring like 90 million points in the Blitz. I can't keep up with that.
Yeah. Uh,
So yeah, so like not focusing on that initial Blitz early on is really gonna hurt you in the long run.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Uh
Absolutely.
yeah. Anything else you want to add, Mobile?
I just be very deliberate about getting legendaries and focusing legendaries
Yeah.
and knowing what the legendary requirements are and how to get them and being ready for them is kind of the thing. And there's lots of videos on that out there. I suggest just focusing initially on guardians and getting Star Lord, and then the second path would be as guardians and going up that inhuman, as well as Sinister Six, which it leads you down two different paths, both for Shiri and Invisible Woman. So
Yeah.
seems like a pretty efficient way of doing it.
Yeah. All right, well, that is gonna be it for us. Mobile Gamer, you have anything for the McMinions out there before we leave?
Well, when all else fails, you could just always just wail harder,
Yeah, wail
and then
harder.
yeah, that it fixes all the problems. There's an expression, say I'd rather be, I'd rather have be lucky than skillful. Well, if you're not lucky, you could just wail harder.
There you
And
go.
then there you go. This is gonna trump skill and luck at that point.
The best tip for this whole video is actually a Mobile Gamer shirt right now. I mean, perfect.
I'm being very
You have the
sarcastic.
right
There's
shirt on.
there's there are definitely efficient ways to play this game where you should not have to spend any money, and
Yeah.
it's a fantastic experience. And
Hmm.
and you can definitely be efficient and deliberate about in making a beeline to Ultron and things like that, and you'll be ahead of everybody. You'll do well in the arena, and when you do well in the arena, then you're gonna have extra crystals, and that's gonna make a big difference.
Yep. All right, well, that is gonna be it for us, guys. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. Dude, go check out Mobile Gamers channel as well. We're doing a collab over there as well, talking about how to spend your currency in the store. So do go check that out. Definitely gonna be helpful for you newer
Yep.
players as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next time.